Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this latest narration in the web series The Princess and the Human. If you're new to the series, there is a playlist listed down below in the description. And as always, I hope that you enjoy. Chapter 34, Coming Clear. Both Quilo, who was currently once again posing as a guard, and the borrowed maid Kyla turned their heads in surprise as Kyla exited the conference room much sooner than expected. She ignored them, making a beeline towards the entrance hall and then a shuttle. So she didn't know for how long she would still be able to keep her emotions in check. She didn't want to spend any more time than necessary in the palace for now. Overcoming their initial surprise, her two servants hurried after her. "Is there something wrong, milady?" her handyman asked once he caught up. Kyla realized how stiff her steps were right now, but that couldn't be helped. One couldn't exactly hurry leisurely, especially not while being extremely agitated, trying to downplay the fact that as far as possible, and also maintaining a dignified posture. "Your Highness doesn't feel well at the moment," she answered after a short pause. She had tried to sound as calm as possible, but despite her best efforts, there was still a small shaking left in her voice that she didn't manage to suppress, which agitated her even further. By goddess, talking really wasn't a good idea right now. "Do you want me to claim delay, milady?" Kyla immediately chimed in. She sounded almost eager. Well, it normally would have been nice to see another confirmation of how the borrowed maid was completely on her side now. Right now, she couldn't have it. Not for a mere half day, and now shut up until we're back in the cottage. Leaving the palace in a way that she could only hope didn't look like her angrily stomping out of the door, she was past the point where she could have evaluated that herself. She walked through the rain she couldn't care less about and entered the shuttle. Still not wanting to risk anything, she tried to keep up her calm demeanor during the flight. It was a bit easier now since she didn't have to move. Quilo had taken a hint and Kyla was in the cockpit, so no one talked to her. Thankfully, the flight was short, holding her facade just a little bit longer. The matriarch entered the building, ignoring the three bowing servants, and rushed towards her office. "They'll be all for now," she said to Kyla, who left with a quick bow. After the door closed, Kyla waited a bit longer before taking her translator and placing it on her desk. One deep breath and... "Damn it!" she screamed, finally allowing herself to vent her anger. "So something did happen," Quilo inferred, taking off his translator as well. "Really? What gave you the impression? Did our plan not work?" "No, it did. That's exactly the problem." She was still fuming, but now she had been able to vent a little. She managed to calm down a bit. The plan had been simple. Use Kyla to repeatedly dilute the princess's drink with unpurified water to give her a slight calcium poisoning. Not enough to cause any real harm, but giving her headaches to disrupt her concentration so that she would slip up and say something she could capitalize on. No one would see the symptoms as an attack, even if the calcium would be discovered. Due to the low amount, they could just think something went wrong with the purification process. And surely, after a few days, the princess had indeed slipped up, just as planned. There was just one little caveat she hadn't planned for. The gravity of the slip-up was far greater than she had predicted. How did I not see the signs? She had been subtle about it, and even in hindsight, there had been hints I should have picked up on sooner. "So what exactly is the problem?" her handyman asked after giving her a short pause. Kyla took a seat. "She's trying to find out why we've stopped exporting our metal. Isn't that the same as all of our... No, you don't get it. It's fake. It's all fake. She has no plan of forming any agreements with us. It's all just a farce. By the goddess, how did I not notice it? She doesn't simply want to know like the rest. She is dead set on finding out. If she won't get it out of me, she'll try something else." Drained, the tie stream matriarch leaned back. "As long as she lives, that is. So we're really doing it," she nodded. "We have no choice. I hoped it wouldn't get to that point, but if she finds out the truth, our people are done for. I told her that as a sign of my goodwill, I will cancel our talks for tomorrow so that she could rest. Told Kyla to use that window of opportunity to finish it. Do you think that she isn't the point already? She has agreed so far, but there is a difference between causing someone headaches and a regicide." "Then convince her," Kyla grunted. "Make her believe that there is no risk for her because the calcium will make it look like an accident. If that's still not enough, coerce her. We can prove that she poisoned the princess. Well, she has nothing to prove our involvement. We could simply claim that we got worried after the princess got worse and investigated ourselves. Just as a commoner, her word is worth nothing. I don't care what it takes. Just make her do it, and then tie up loose ends." "As you wish, milady." 20th day after my arrival. Dear Diary, it's been a while since my last entry. The last few days here were difficult. It is my fault what happened to Kaiten. Even if everyone tells me otherwise, I knew this would, I should have been aware this could happen. I have to be careful if I don't want to be like an elephant in a porcelain store. It's all, why was I so careless? And yet, they all seem to forgive me. I don't know what I did to deserve these people, even Kaiten. Why doesn't he hate? No. He has every reason to be angry at me. I robbed him of his years of his childhood. They said it might take him up to 6 cycles to fully recover, so more than 3 years. That is a lot for a child. Yet, he's still hell-bent on getting back on track. I don't know what I would do without all of them, but this time, I'll be more careful. Okay, maybe the glass plate was a bit much. I might not have needed any of the protective gear I ordered, but I am scared. What if I become careless again? What if next time, it'll be too late? A knock on her door pulled Silvani out of her stupor. She was currently sitting on the couch in her room, her face covered in her hands. Her head felt like it was about to split apart. Her arms were shaking whenever they weren't resting on something, and since today, she'd even started to have the occasional muscle spasm. What was worse, the medicine that the doctor had given her didn't seem to help at all. Or, if it did, she didn't want to know how bad it would be without it. Come in. The door opened, and Mahita entered. I'm sorry to disturb your day off. The head maid apologized, but something came, Your Highness, you were supposed to rest. She seemingly had seen the datapad lying on a short table in front of her. I did, Silvani defended. Mostly. Is your headache better? No, it's worse than ever. Then why don't you rest? It has reached a point where even the ambassador is concerned for your health. She stepped closer and grabbed the datapad. You are free to punish me for my insubordination later, but for now I'll be taking this. Silvani was too drained to argue with her. Fine, she grumbled. But didn't you come in for something else? Right, earlier today I encountered Kyla. You know, the maid you called from the Sun Palace to give Lady Kyla. She claimed that the ambassador sent her on an errand. But just now, the lady called to complain that Kyla was being missing for the entire day. When asked, she didn't know anything about an errand. That is indeed strange. Then I'll... She tried to stand up, but another surge of pain made her fall back into a seat. Okay, not I, she groaned, but have someone look into this. Since she has apparently left her post, you are allowed to restrain her if necessary. I will, Your Highness. Do you need anything else? Silvani thought for a moment. Actually, yes. Call Nadine. I could use the distraction, and talking to her always calms me down. Very well. This is not just a plot to get your datapad back, right? She shook her head. Nothing like that. It's been 4 days since she started to get better again. I'd like to try and get her out of her room. I don't know if she'll be fine with that, but I'll try. Do that, oh. And one more thing. She pointed at her cupboard. Some water, please. Just sitting there without doing anything robbed her of the feeling of time, and the pain in her head didn't help with that. But finally, she heard a knock. Your Highness, a soft voice asked. Nadine, come in. Despite her pain, Silvani could hear the happiness in her own voice. The relief she felt even seemed to numb the ache for a moment. How do you feel? I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable. Don't be, the small alien insisted, taking a seat across from her. The shaking of both her voice and her hand showed that she was still nervous about having contact with others again. I know that you're doing this for me. Mahita cleared the way so I didn't encounter anyone, and once the dressmaker finishes my suit, I'll probably have fewer inhibitions, honestly. I'm aware that even this is more than coping than actual necessity, but I just don't want to hurt anyone by accident anymore. You've been through much, so I understand, and yet you still followed my selfish requests to meet me so late at night, so I thank you for that. Nadine landed back in her seat, which looked pretty adorable considering her feet didn't touch the ground. I should be the one saying that. I can't stress enough how thankful I am for everything. I don't know how long it'll take until I really overcome my trauma, if that'll ever happen at all, that is. I still have the occasional nightmare, but I don't want to imagine how much worse off I'd be without you. Honestly. I'd hug you if it wouldn't kill you, or if I may be direct. It's just the two of us. Be as direct as we wish. It is as if you've become my big sister. Silvani chuckled, only for another surge of pain to interrupt her. Still, no. She had the right to hear it. A big sister, Well, tell me, how old do you think I am? I don't know. Early to mid-20s, so that's around 40 cycles? A moment of silence followed before Silvani burst into laughter. It hurt her head to laugh, but she still kept laughing. She simply couldn't help it. 40 cycles, I guess that's what it looks like to a human. Was I off? I'm sorry, I thought no need to apologize, but yes, you were off. She took a deep breath. As of now, I'm 11 cycles old. Nadine blinked a couple of times before answering. You're younger than me. Wait, 11 cycles. You're 7, in absolute numbers, yes, but make no mistake, I'm an adult in every sense of the word. What you just said, 40 cycles. No Veneri ever got that old. The small alien just stared at her in disbelief. That means, Silvani nodded, you will outlive me, and not just barely, but by many generations. You will likely be in your prime by the time my great-grandchildren are born. After that, there was a long pause. Well, it was a lot to take in, so Silvani couldn't falter to, ah! This time, the pain was so unbearable that she even lost control of her voice, like when she got angry. Your Highness, are you all right? No headache. She tried to hold herself on the armrest, but another muscle spasm made her slip. When that wasn't all, she started to have trouble breathing, and something in her chest started to hurt as well. Your Highness, this isn't stress anymore. You need to see a doctor now. You're right. Silvani stood, but even standing straight caused trouble for her. In the end, she managed to wobble towards the wall and used it to crutch it slowly to go forward, until she finally reached the door. It was locked. Why was it locked? There was no key in the lock. Was it locked from the outside? Before she could ponder the question any further, the handle escaped her grasp, and the sight of the floor coming closer was the last thing she saw before her vision went black. End of chapter. I'd quickly like to thank the T5 peeps: Cold War Boomerwaffen, Severin Cerberus, Bushmaster 177, HenryTheRed, Casper Arnholtz, Cold War Boomerwaffen, Elijah Silvercross, Dragzoon W.R.E, and Severin Cerberus. Thank you very much.